Hello everyone and welcome to my Stamina Necromancer PvP build for the Elder Scrolls Online Elsweyr. This is a very fun to play PvP build. Not only can it be extremely tanky to some of the abilities the Necromancer has, but it also can deal a good amount of damage, and it can also deal a really high AoE damage bash attack with the Goliath form, which will give you like 8 or 10k AoE bash attacks, which is very high. I also did some PvP duels with him and I won a couple. I lost a few as well, but I was getting used to it. After that the build performed a lot better. This was some of the captures I did in the beginning. Unfortunately I didn't have the capture software open when I was on the PTS because I was busy with the skills, and then I just got in fight spam to duels, so I did a couple of duels. But I really enjoyed the build and it's definitely one of the builds I'm gonna try. Here I was just bash spamming like you can see, and the NPCs just melted away. It is fun to like just spam it like this. I'm really curious like how it will perform in bigger fights, like really big fights with 10 people around you. So I personally am looking forward to that, and we will see how that goes. Anyways, written version will also be linked underneath the comments if you just want a written version, and if you just want a video version, then continue watching. Enjoy! So let's go over the gear first of all. First of all, we have 2 monster pieces, Bloodspawn, 2 medium armor pieces, Bloodspawn impenetrable with maximum stamina. You want to go medium armor on Bloodspawn, as the other 2 sets that we are using do not come in medium armor, and we want to go with 5 heavy, 2 medium. After that you want to go with 5 Warriors Fury set. So it is kind of up to you if you want to go with 5 gear pieces of Warriors Fury set and then like 3 jewelry of the other set. But the most important part is that you have the 5 Warriors Fury set either on gear or jewelry, and that you constantly have the 5-piece bonus active. And the remaining slots you want to fill up with part of the Affliction set, so it can be 2 gear pieces and 1 jewelry, but like I said, it can also be 3 jewelry, it can also be 3 gear pieces. That is up to you. All pieces impenetrable with maximum stamina enchantment. Jewelry, we have 1 infused with reduced stamina cost of abilities, and then we have 2 protective with weapon damage enchantment. So the other part of the Affliction set we have on our sword and board bar. When you do damage, you have 50% chance to deal an additional 2.4k disease damage and apply Mind of Hell to the target, reducing their healing receipt and health recovery by 15% for 4 seconds. Now if we utilize this along with an ability that we also have slotted, which is called Blighted Blast Wounds, we also apply Major Defel. So that is why this set is really useful, because you have both Major and Minor Defel applied to your enemy's targets. And Master Weapon, we have an Asylum Battle Axe. When you do damage with Reverse Slash, you generate up to 14 ultimate based on how much execute bonus damage is dealt. We have on the two-handed axe, like you can see, we have the increased weapon damage enchantment effects. And on the sword we have Nurnode with the disease damage enchantment, and the shield we have maximum stamina and impenetrable. Now this is very nice for your ultimate generation, which will come in very handy later on, because of course we utilize the Bone Goliath form. So, Munderstone, Boon the Warrior, Food, Artium Takeaway Broth, and attribute points all in stamina. Race, well, race I really do recommend Redguard, because the sustain is just incredibly powerful, especially with a melee orientated build like this. The adrenaline rush ratio passive that you get from the Redguard is just really good, and on top of that you of course have conditioning to increase your maximum stamina, and you have a reduced cost of weapon abilities by 8%, and the reduce the effectiveness of snares applied to you by 50%. So my number 1 pick choice would be without doubt a Redguard. Other races of course could be Nord, an Orc, Imperial, like those are all optional decent races, even Khajiit, but definitely go with the Redguard. That would be my number 1 pick. So let's go over the skills. Sword and board bar, first of all we have Deep Thoughts. Deep Thoughts can be found in the Psychic order, and it's the last ability. The second ability we have is Heroic Slash. It's the second ability from the Wand Hand and Shield skill line. This will be really good because you also afflict enemies with minor maim, but you also gain minor heroism, granting us 1 ultimate every 1.5 seconds. The third ability is Reverberating Bash, which is the last ability from the one hand and shield line. Very useful because this way you can also apply major defal to enemies, but you also have a nice instant stun. And number 4 is Blighted Blast Bones, new ability from the Necromancer, can be found in the Gravelord skill line, second ability. Fifth ability is Resolving Figure, this will be our main heal of course, which can be found in the Assault line, second ability. Ultimate is Spell Wall, in case you get a lot of pressure, you can always use Spell Wall, and then you basically block and reflect everything for 7 seconds. Two-handed bar, number 1 we have Executioner, fourth ability from the two-handed bar line. Second ability is Beckoning Armor. You always want to keep Beckoning Armor up because the increased physical and spell resistance is just so good. So second ability, Bone Tyrant. Third ability is Spirit Guardian. Spirit Guardian can be found in the Living Death tree, which is the fourth ability. Now Spirit Guardian is nice because first of all the spirit heals you or the lowest health ally around you every 2 seconds, restoring 934 health. Not a lot of healing done, but while active 10% of damage you take is transferred to the spirit instead. So that is very useful because the spirit will be taking 10% of your damage. Then we have Mortal Coil. Siphon the last remnants of life from a corpse, healing for 8.3k health over 12 seconds to yourself and all allies between you and the corpse. You also restore 2.8k stamina over 12 seconds while siphoning. So while solid, your healing is also increased by 3%. So this is very nice because after you send in something like a Blighted Blast Bone, after this explosion it will leave a corpse and you can directly siphon that corpse to gain health and stamina back to yourself. And last but not least is Forward Momentum, which is the last ability from a two-handed line. This is very nice because this will allow you to get rid of snares and you heal for 964 health every 2 seconds while active. Ultimate, we have the Pummeling Goliath. Now you definitely want to go with the Pummeling Goliath because as you could see, the AoE bash you gain from it is very useful with this build, and you can actually deal a good amount of damage with this bash. Fully buffed up, you can expect something between 7 to 8k physical bash attack when you are fully buffed up with this ultimate. So it doesn't sound maybe like a lot, but it's actually quite a lot for a bash AoE attack, especially for something where you are as tanky as a Pummeling Goliath. Regarding the champion points, we first of all start with the tower. We have 44 in Warlord, reduce the cost of break free, and 37 in bashing focus, reduce the cost of bash, so we can really spam that bash with the Goliath form. Mooncale 43, stamina recovery, 11 tenacity, increase the magic and stamina, fully charged heavy attacks restore. 44 in tumbling, reduce the cost of roll dodge. 47 in befoul. 44 in shadow ward. Then we have the apprentice, 32 in blast, increase healing done. The Atronic, 25 in physical weapon expert, increase your damage done with light and heavy attacks. 66 in mastered arms, increase your damage done with a direct damage attack by 22%. 56 in precise strikes. 35 in piercing and 56 in mighty. Then we have the Steed, Ironclad, 56 in Ironclad and 52 in resistance. 44 in thick-skinned, 43 in hardy and 43 in elemental defender, and then 32 in quick recovery. And that is most of it. The most important things that you always want to do with this build is you want to keep up your Beckoning Armor, Spirit Guardian and Forward Momentum up at all times. After you cast a Blighted Blast Bone up your enemy, make sure to use Mortal Coil to gain health and stamina back from the corpse. Apart from that, you can use Heroic Slash, Reverberating Bash and Blighted Blast Bones against your enemies to keep up the pressure. Recast Blighted Blast Bones when you need to. If you get low on health, use Resolving Figure, and if you get low on resource in general, use Deep Thoughts. Try to do a little bit of line of sighting, try to get behind a pillar or a fence or something and quickly try to use the deep thoughts. Even if it's just for a few seconds, every second will give you a decent amount of resources back. And apart from that, if the enemy gets low, of course, keep up the Major and Minor the Fell that you can apply with both Blighted Blast Bones. And of course, you can apply Minor the Fell. You can apply Minor the Fell, of course, with the set that we are using, the Afflicted Shield. When you do damage, you have 50% chance to deal an additional disease damage and apply Minor the Fell. So if you do 2-3 attacks, then you will most likely apply Minor the Fell to your enemy. And then you will have both Minor and Major the Fell up on them, which can greatly reduce their healing down and can actually really hurt them. So if you want to find a written guide of this, of course I already linked it in the description, but check out learneso.net. We also have a very tanky Necromancer health tank build up on there and many other PvP and PvE builds. I wish you guys a great day. Bye bye. See you in Tamriel. I'm out.